Good morning and welcome to the Bitter Knitters podcast. It is Monday, September 25th, 2017. My name is Jacqueline. I'm joined by Arthur.
Hey.
And Ryan. That's the perfect response from Ryan ever. The most intelligent comment he's ever made.
I have one word to say. Sukiyaki. Jacqueline, be careful.
That was hysterical. Oh my God, I don't know if I can continue. So breaking news, the most important news of the universe ever, Kylie Jenner.
Uh-huh.
I'm not talking about this bitch. Who cares? But that was on my feed all weekend. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
I guess the biggest story we should talk about is the NFL.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Taking a stand. We all know Colin Kaepernick has been taking the knee for what, a year and a half when he was playing in the NFL?
Yeah, it was last year, I believe he started it.
Okay. So he takes the knee during the national anthem. His protest is that why should he stand during the national anthem when there's so much racial discrimination, there's black men being killed by the police, blah, 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 whatever. That's his protest.
Mm-hmm.
He received a ton of heat from it that whole year. More and more athletes were taking the knee during the I guess just in football. I don't know if it were called in any other sport that I remember. Took the knee. This weekend, you know who, 45, made a comment. But what I loved was the solidarity that came out. He basically said, 45 said that anybody who takes the knee is a bum and should be thrown out of the NFL and fired.
Yeah.
And
use the
CEOs,
exact quote.
Owners, coaches, called them a son of a bitch.
Yeah, called them sons
right?
of bitches.
Yeah. They all stood. 25 teams took part, and I think over 200 players took part in the protest. And not everybody took the knee because, as your right to protest, they stood with them, put their hands on their shoulders or linked arms.
Linked arms, yeah.
Or didn't even come out on the field. Yeah. I think it's great, but there's still a lot of people that are angry with them. Oh, we're never going to watch NFL again.
Yeah.
Oh, so sad. So sad.
Well, it is if you're a sponsor.
That's true.
Yeah. Right?
This is the most watched sport in America.
Exactly. You have that, then NASCAR. And apparently a bunch of NASCAR owners yesterday said to their drivers, like, any kind of protest and you're done. See you later.
It's ridiculous.
The thing I love,
you're stifling people's right to speak and protest, right?
Now, I'm all for freedom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I will always stand and respect my national anthem. I loved my national anthem, and I understand why we play it at sports games. It's not just to kind of pat ourselves on our patriotic backs. It does have a real meaning to it. We started playing the national anthems after World War II to show respect to the men that went over and fought for us. So I'll always respect that. But where 45 messed up is he said, you can't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people where the moment you say, hey, you can't do this, I'm going to go, fuck you, bud. And I'm going to do it. I don't even want to protest, but fuck you, I'm taking the knee.
Yeah.
Especially with some guy like him, you know what I mean? Where, like, everyone fucking hates him already. And then you'd
think if you had something to, if you didn't have something to protest last year when Colin Kaepernick was taking the knee, I think everybody certainly does now when 45's your president.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same with you, Arthur. I would never protest during the national anthem. I go to a baseball game, and when that anthem comes, I tear up.
Yep.
I'm the kind of person that cries when our national anthem plays. And I would personally never protest through it. But that doesn't mean I don't think you should be allowed to if you want to.
The thing is, we are free. We live in a free nation. So if you don't want to stand, you don't have to stand. If you don't want to take off your hat, you don't have to take off your hat. If you don't want to do anything during the national anthem, you don't have to.
Absolutely.
And for someone that say that you absolutely have to over really a bunch of bullshit, because there is no, I was looking at some of the flag statutes for the U.S. yesterday. There's nothing that says you have to respect the flag. And especially, like, there was a bunch of them. I can't remember who posted it, but some guy posted a bunch of things that actually go against the Americans' flag statute. Like, the flag can never be laid down horizontal. The flag can never be put on, like, underwear or anything like that, or fucking used for temporary, like, food dishes and shit. And all these are being broken all the time, but because somebody took their time to protest, and like let's face it, that's a fairly effective protest. It got people talking.
Yeah.
We're talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's their First Amendment rights to protest. So suck it, bud.
Well, you know, the interesting part is Arthur brought that up because I was going to bring that up. It was like there's these things to the amendment, but you know that's not seen as disrespect. My thing about this whole thing with taking the knee, I'm actually kind of on the fence a little bit about it. I don't know exactly how to completely feel. I'm like, because part of me says, what does the national anthem have to do with Black lives getting shot?
Yeah.
You know, the other part is, why is Donald Trump so up in arms about something like this when you should be worried about something like, because this was said by
North
the
Korea.
guy, North Korea. This was said by one of the most famous commentators for football, right? You should be more focused on something like North Korea or whatever. I feel like you are, for 45, I will always say this, you are the cause of the biggest divide in the nation right now. You're literally the cause of most divides.
Yeah, he absolutely is. So I can't remember the person who gave the quote. I saw it all over my Facebook yesterday. But they basically said taking the knee is like a horrible offense to our country. Yep. Americans, obviously. Horrible, disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. You're a son of a bitch. But being a nationalist, being a Nazi, telling the Jews they should die, that's okay in 45's mind. Because he never really did condemn them.
Yeah.
Although that law was passed, right? The Congress unanimously and Senate unanimously passed the law for him to condemn them, but he didn't do it.
No, he does what he does. And then not only the NFL, he then said yesterday, or I guess on Saturday, apparently there was a whole listing of people he offended on Saturday. 17 different things he sent out in one day. Steph Curry, I guess most people know he's the star of the what is it, Golden State Warriors? Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't follow basketball, and I don't like Steph Curry, but he basically was saying, like, we haven't decided whether we're going to go to the White House, which is the tradition when you win a sports championship, you go to the White House, meet the president, take some pictures. He said, we don't know if we're going. I don't know if I'm going. So, of course, 45 responded with, well, you're not welcome here anyway. You're uninvited. Your whole team is uninvited.
Yeah.
I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
And a lot of the NBA players came out in support of them. And I do kind of like why people are standing up and saying, no, you can bully one person, but we're not going to take it. I like that.
I have a slight beef with it. As a sports fan, I have a slight beef because you're not representing your individual views. You're representing this team. You know, you're representing the fans. You're representing everything about it. Now, I absolutely understand if Curry doesn't want to go. I can understand if any of them don't want to go. But at the same point in time, this isn't just about you. I understand that you guys are the ones that won the championship, yes. But you're representing the team. You know, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah. They released a tweet just after the whole Steph Curry nonsense, and they said flat out, you know, people can have their individual. Damn, it's too early for this. They can have their individual views, but we're not going to, you know, we as a team aren't going to protest going to the White House. You know, it's been happening for years. It's a great honor, blah, 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 blah. I believe that's the proper way of going about it.
But I also read that thing and some of the responses, and I thought one was pretty good. There's only one person of color involved in that whole franchise.
Oh, and in hockey?
No, in that franchise of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah. That's not a racist thing, though.
No, but isn't it easier for rich white guys to say we don't care, we don't have any politics in this, whereas somebody like Steph Curry and the NBA, they come from minorities, they are representing minorities?
Well, so you're saying to me someone like Sidney Crosby, who didn't come from a rich family, he might be white, but some poor Nova Scotia family who's made a few million, compared to Steph Curry, who just signed some $240 million deal, isn't rich and doesn't live a life of privilege?
Oh, I'm not saying that they're not privileged now. Of course, they're all privileged now. But what I'm saying is Steph Curry knows what it's like to be a poor black man. I'm assuming. Well, no, his father has money. I shouldn't say that. I was
going to say, he grew up, Del Curry was his father. Del Curry was a fucking rich NBA player.
Yeah. But just because you have money doesn't mean you still don't get racism when you are black.
I guess.
Right? Look at Obama. He literally and his wife were called gorillas. Mm-hmm. right? So I kind of do see the difference there. Now, should you go to the White House? I would not go to meet. I don't care what I won, what I was getting when I got there. I would not go to the White House and meet 45. There's nothing that could drag me there.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but that's it though. It's a personal thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just don't like. I don't like athletes trying to tell me what I should feel politically.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like.
I agree.
NFL especially. Like, I'm gonna listen to a bunch of people with fucking
celebrities, right?
Oh, celebrity, but within sports, because I pay way more attention to sports than I do fucking celebrities.
Yeah.
But like in the realm of football, like I'm gonna listen to a bunch of people with fucking CTE. They can't think straight personally. I don't really care about their fucking opinions, to be honest with you. Like,
oh my god.
They had, what the fuck was his name? Ray Rice, the guy that fucking killed that guy, sitting there fucking protesting. Like I'm supposed to listen to a murderer? Fuck out of here.
This is one of the reasons I stopped watching a lot of football. Just because and a lot of actually professional sports even.
Yeah.
There's a lot of acceptance of abusers.
Yeah.
Yes,
Murderers, criminals in sports. I'm talking about Ben Roethlisberger. I'm talking about Ray Rice. I'm talking about Aaron. I know Aaron Hernandez went to jail.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of who's the guy that just beat up his wife? Well, beat up his wife 2 years ago and he was suspended for a year, but now he's back in the NFL.
Excuse me, I don't know. I don't really know.
Cool copter right on the elevator and knocked her the
Wasn't
fuck
that
out.
Ray Rice? I think I'm thinking
That's
of a
Ray
different
Rice.
person that killed
Oh,
the guy.
Ray Lewis. That's the
Yeah,
murderer.
Ray
Yeah,
Lewis.
Ray Lewis. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I stopped, because it's like, how do I support a team that I might like, but they have like a blatant murderer, abuser,
No, but
rapist.
but we were having a discussion last night. I feel like all of us, we put so much emphasis on these sportsmen. We make them seem like they're fucking suffering or whatever. Girl, you making millions of dollars that I don't have in my pocket for you to play a stupid
Yeah, but just because you have money doesn't mean you're not suffering. People with money still suffer depression. People with money still suffer physical pain.
Is there protests about depression?
There should be.
It should be, but is it?
There's none.
They're using their celebrity, their time to protest a social injustice, which is fine. I get that. It's actually pretty fucking brilliant. But at the same point in time, me personally, I'm not going to listen to them. I don't care because
celebrities for years have been using their fame to promote whatever they want, whether it's fundraising for war bonds.
And people now are giving a lot of backlash towards that. A lot of people are sick and fucking tired of these silver spoon having celebrities telling us how the fuck we should feel. We don't live in their echo chambers. We don't live in that lifestyle.
But we don't have a platform. And I'm not saying you should listen to a celebrity ever. No celebrity tells me how I should vote or what I should think. But sometimes they raise awareness to something you might not be aware of. If we didn't have Al Gore making an inconvenient truth, would as many people be behind climate change or recycling or saving the environment as there are now? Maybe
but
not.
Al Gore's not a celebrity. Al Gore used to be the vice president of the United States.
But to some degree, he's still using his name, his reputation. Is a celebrity not using their name and their reputation at the same time? You've got Leonardo DiCaprio, who raises awareness for climate change.
Yeah, and to me, he's a fucking joke. Phenomenal actor, but I'm sick and tired of hearing about him. When he was here at the oil sands a couple of years ago protesting, how'd he get here? On a private fucking jet.
Of course.
I don't care about your opinion anymore.
There?
I don't know.
I don't necessarily
take your solar-powered fucking car, bud. Like, if it's that fucking big of a deal, like, really do something about it. Oh, that's right. You don't have to because you're a celebrity.
I don't even have a problem with them. Their jets. The yachts kill me. You're on these like freaking $20 million yachts.
Right, you're spending fucking months out in an ocean, exactly, on this fucking yacht. But yet, I'm supposed to listen to you about fucking social and environmental causes. Fuck out of here.
Yeah,
you're not being.
But even if somebody is not doing it 100%, right? Like, I mean, I'm like, oh, we should save electricity. We should save water. We should recycle. But that doesn't mean everything I recycle is getting properly recycled. Does that mean I'm full of shit? I'm trying to do my best, but that doesn't mean I'm 100%, perfect. None of us are perfect.
Yeah, but when you honestly listen to these fucking celebrities going off about their things, it's all absolutes. There's never wiggle room. It's this way or no way. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I guess in some sense.
I'm just tired of it, to be honest. I just don't
What
care.
about? Did you read anything about this Tom Brady book? Or I don't even think it's a book, a website. It's the Tom Brady way of living. So for like $100 and something, you can see how he what his exercise regime is. For $200, you can see what his food regime is. And it's basically like just not eating milk, not eating tomatoes. It's just like some crazy thing. And just like you said, why are you going to follow the freaking routine of somebody who's had how many concussions and brain injury?
I'm sorry. It's just, to me, it doesn't work for me. You know, and I'm not going to try to pin fucking CTE on these boys, but at the same point in time, I mean, I can't trust what you fucking say. Like, you could be concussed right now.
Did you see the scan of Aaron Hernandez's brain? I showed it to Ryan the other night.
I heard about it. I didn't look at it.
It was insane. Like, I didn't know a brain could look like that unless it was like, you know, rotten for a few years. And it was black goo inside his brain.
I'm just hoping that this protesting shit stops within the sports thing. You know, with hockey and basketball coming around, the season start next month, you know, I really don't want to see every fucking game under the ire of some political fucking protest.
Well, the thing about this anthem, from what I was reading, I don't know if this is true. Someone in the comments of a BuzzFeed article was saying it. Until 2009, the players didn't even come out for the national anthem.
Yeah.
The team's owners kind of put them out there because they wanted them to see the patriotism.
Yeah.
So forced patriotism isn't any better than, you know.
Well, and that was my whole point, right? Like, I don't care if you don't stand. I don't care if you talk. I don't give a shit. We are free citizens. You do not have to stand and sing the national anthem if you don't want to. I just personally find it in bad taste to use that time as your platform to make some protest. That's me. Now, obviously, I'm not going to tell other people how to think. If you agree with it, you think it's righteous, then fucking cool. You know, if you think it works, then cool. I personally don't. Like, as a sports fan, I look at that and I go, Like, yay, another rich asshole telling me how the fuck to feel. Like, fuck out of here, bud. I don't give a fuck about your feelings.
I think that's part of the reason why I have the feelings and the sentiments that I have about these protests, because it's like, if I'm not a sports watcher, you know, obviously. Like, if I'm gonna watch sport, I don't want politics in everything that I do in life. I don't want it at my job. I don't want it on my not on my TV, but I don't want it on, you know, if I'm not watching the news shows. I don't want it on my TV. I don't want it in my sports. I don't want it in my movies.
Exactly. Like, that's leisure.
It doesn't have,
But don't you think we're in a climate where, because we are being divided, and it is so divisive between not even just 45, but between political parties, can you help that from happening? And if you don't protest, I mean, how else are they going to protest? If you don't protest, how else do you get your
use your money?
Change?
Rather than, you know what I mean? Like, like this. So I go to a fucking Leafs game. These tickets cost me fucking $300 for fucking a ticket. So I'm looking at $600 to go see a goddamn hockey game. And the entire beginning of that hockey game is now politicized. Now you've just ruined that entire 2-week stretch that I worked my fucking ass off to go and not have to think about that fucking shit and lose myself in this game. You are ruining it for the fans. Right?
But how are you going to use your money to change that? How is an athlete going to use his money to change that?
Easy. Fucking spend some money. Fucking, like, go fucking buy a permit. Get a park. You know? Fucking buy some barbecue, some fucking hamburgers and hot dogs and shit. Have some political fucking awareness bullshit. You're taking away why people love sports. That the sports are an escape from the mundane bullshit that we have to deal with day in, day out. It's people's release.
Sure.
And
but do you think that will stop? That would never stop people from coming to a Leaf game. Doesn't matter.
Well, no, nothing will ever stop me from going to Leaf games. Like, nothing. I don't give two shits. But you know, it's that's kind of where my mind goes with it. You're ruining it. It's the same with the movies. TV's a little bit different because obviously we know that networks have their political leanings. You can see it within their programming. But when it comes to sports, that is a lot of people's weekly release. That is how they get their minds out of the bullshit that's been bringing them down. And then to bring in a protest that probably the reason why a lot of these people are feeling down, to me, it cheapens it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Right? Like, again, I know me personally, I don't want to see that shit cross the border. I know the Raptors last year, in solidarity with Kaepernick, they didn't take a knee, but they linked arms during one of the national anthems, which is fine.
The Rough Riders yesterday linked arms.
Yeah,
Canadian football team. One of our
I've got no beef with that, but I just don't want to see sports games become politicized the way everything else is fucking politicized.
Yeah.
There's enough of that. There really is enough of that. I don't think we need any more of this shit, like, being just kind of forced on us.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go on. Let's talk about some more politics. Yesterday was a big day in Germany. It was their election day on a Sunday. It's so weird.
I know.
But yeah, Angela Merkel won her 4th term as Chancellor of Germany. Didn't win with a huge majority. She won a small minority, about 32% of the vote. Previously, she'd had a small minority, but she joined forces with the. It's kind of like Canadian government, the way they can kind of join up and make a party that will have like a voting bloc to get laws passed. But the scary thing, I guess, in my opinion, I don't know if everybody's going to find this scary. The nationalist group, the AFD, they got a huge. They went from literally no seats to 13% of the vote. That's big. They've got 90 people representing them in their German, whatever you call it, House of Commons. I don't know what the hell you call it, Parliament. Now,
it was bound to happen.
Yeah, I mean it's getting out of control over there.
It's bound to happen.
This is the first time since 1961. It's the first far right party to enter the Bundestag. I guess that's what they call their parliament.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's scary. That's scary. To me, it's scary. I said this last night to you in private. I feel like the world is following suit with what's going on in the United States politically, with all this alt-right kind of shit growing. It's crazy.
Now, do you think it's just this is the echo effect of so many Muslims streaming into Europe?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I absolutely do. It's a huge anti-immigration, anti-Islamization movement that's happening right there.
That's essentially what their party was based on.
Yeah. And I mean, I cannot see any country that size with that population accepting 1 million people that are kind of refusing to assimilate and not take that kind of a stance with it. I don't agree with it, but I can kind of understand why they take that stance.
Mm-hmm. I agree with Arthur on that 100%. Actually, it's like I don't necessarily agree with what's going on, but I do. I kind of get why. I mean, but it's so crazy. I feel like the Donald Trump effect really is growing. That's scary.
See, but I feel like Donald Trump is more of an echo of this than. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this was happening in Europe before it was happening in America.
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely was. We talked about this on an earlier show when I was saying, there's this huge far-right movement that's been brooding in Europe for a while now.
Mm-hmm. For a while.
In Greece, I think it was like 8 years ago, they almost elected a fucking full-out fascist party to lead the country,
And they were afraid what was going to happen in France with Macron. They thought that other crazy
I was going to say with France.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Marie Le Pen.
That's her name. I couldn't remember her name. Yeah.
There's always going to be that divisive nature, though. You know what I mean? And especially, like, you gotta look at the migrant problem that's happening in Europe. And I mean, actually fucking look at it. Don't just look at the fluff shit that people are showing. Because there's a lot of, success stories there. There is. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that it's all bad, but you have to look at some of the bad that's happening. In France, I can't remember what it's called, like the Calais.
Calais?
Yeah, I know the town's Calais, but there's a highway, right? That's a highway where they do a lot of importing from France into England.
Right.
And I just can't remember the term they put after it. And it's fucking crazy the amount of these migrants that stand on the side of the highways. They block these fucking trucks. They'll pull the truckers out, beat the shit out of them, rob them fucking blind of their fucking loads and shit like that. No one's reporting on that. that's going to create a lot of dissension amongst people.
Why aren't the police there doing something if they know this is happening? What are the fuck
police doing? Because now you're targeting a marginalized people. You're targeting a people that, you know, just can't get their
I'm not saying
come-ups.
you have to move them along, but like, if the police presence are there, how are you gonna, you know, less chance for you to pull a truck over and...
Right? It's,
you know what I mean?
It's just disgusting. It's a really messed up fucking place right now. And the crazy thing is it's all under the guise of humanitarianism, you know, and we all want to be that. We all want to be like, hey, you know, we have it better. Come on. Like, we can help. But it was too many people at once.
Well, and there was no vetting. This is the thing.
Mm-hmm. Like, there was no vetting in Europe.
Because people just kind of, you know, escaped from where they were living. You're not even just talking about Syrians. You're talking about people from North Africa came, people from all kinds of different countries,
Iran,
and they just came in and they weren't vetted. So you're not getting people that are, you don't know who's coming. You could have criminals, you could have gang members, you could have rapists, you could have whatever. These people are coming in and there's kind of essentially no control. And some people, if you weren't caught right away, you're just walking around. You know what I mean? The government might not even know you're there.
I've said this a few times, and it's the thing that, I don't think a lot of people understand with the migrant crisis. It's not the Syrians.
Yeah.
It's not. Those people are fleeing war. Those people are very fucking thankful to be out of fucking Syria right now. And, it's actually a really beautiful fucking story when you do meet these people. It is your North African economic migrants. These people, and I mean, this is going to sound racist, but whatever, they're fucking scum. They are fucking shitty fucking people that destroyed their own fucking countries, and now they are fucking getting in these life rafts, getting taken to Europe, and
don't paint everybody with the same brush. Not all of them are scum. You don't know that. You don't know every single one of them.
Ugh. I'm happy I don't. But I'm sorry. This shit's fucking disgusting. It is horrible. I watched a video about a month ago of a bunch of people that landed in fucking Spain. I think there's 500 of them. And the second they touch Spanish soil, they start running amok through this city, fucking stealing shit, burning cars, looting in fucking stores. Like, you know what I mean? But these are the people that I'm supposed to feel bad for. And this is why you're getting
that need to
movement.
Be because you haven't come in legally.
No.
You're not even escaping a war-torn country.
No.
These are the people that need to be, I don't want to say arrested, but detained and then,
sent home.
Sent back.
And that's the problem.
It does make you wonder, though. I mean, you're obviously still living in an environment that you would risk your life to cross the Mediterranean on some, cardboard box boat.
Yeah, ish. But they're fleeing economic crises that they started on their own.
But that's the government. That's not the people. The people don't have control over things like that.
Okay, so
especially in these countries. Come on.
What was it, Sudan? Yeah, Sudan. They had a democratic election to break the country into two because the northern half found the southern half found oil and the northern half didn't have it. So they had an election. They voted to split the country in two. Now the northern Sudanese are fleeing into Europe because they have no money. You guys, I'm sorry, you did it to yourself. You had the opportunity in a democratic fucking setting to fix that problem. To say no, we're one country.
Do you think that the people? I mean, I don't know I didn't even know that story. That's how South Sudan came around. But do you think that the North Sudanese people were the ones that did the voting, or maybe it was the South Sudanese? And also, how many people are even educated enough to know what the ramifications of that vote? But
that's Europe's problem now?
No, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I agree they should be sent home.
Right.
But I can understand why these people would be fleeing if there's nothing. If there's literally nothing, there's no food, there's no jobs, you're talking about places that are in a drought still too.
Yeah. But look.
What else are you going to do? You're just supposed to lay there and die?
Yes. Nature dictates that only the strong survive. That's nature. Yeah, you can't.
Strong. You migrate to get to a new place. Animals migrate to get to the new food.
Yeah, you're correct. And what happens when they come across another group of animals that already have that territory?
I'm not saying that all these people should be coming in. I agree. People need to be vetted, and they need to be the right people coming into any country. You don't want the scum of the earth. But I don't want to call all North Africans scum. I don't think that's right, and I don't think that's fair. And I think a lot of these people aren't even educated. So I just think that's really an unfair statement.
I've been inundated with watching this shit and reading about this stuff for the last few years, and it is a lot more grotesque than what people fucking know. It is actually fucking horrible. It's terrible. They bitch about their living conditions when they're living in fucking 5-star hotels. They bitch about the food they get because they would rather the money so they can buy fucking cell phones. I'm just not about this. I'm not. I think it's the wrong way. I think Europe has gone the wrong way about this. And it's all in the name of being a humanitarian.
So how would you change it?
How would I change it?
Yeah.
I mean, I would go harsh as fuck with it, to be honest. I mean,
what do you mean? Are you going to shoot them in the water before they land, or
not shoot them, but shoot at them?
No, I don't think that's right.
I don't believe in open borders. I do not believe that the entire world's problems are the rest of the world's problems. I don't. I really
I
don't.
get that. I agree with that. I wouldn't want 1 million people coming in here without vetting either. But
I also have that feeling about Europe, where Europe is so old. These people, their roots are so ingrained in their nations that they're never going to accept this type of shit. They're never going to. There's never going to be a time where a mass influx of people are going to move into a European country where they're not going to be met with resistance.
Well, I get that. I think that's any country.
And
look, we still have our resistance here in Canada. How many people were saying about the Syrian refugees?
Oh yeah, a bunch of idiots. And it's been over a year now and nothing's happened. And all those people, now they're sitting there with fucking pie on their face. But in Europe, it's a different story. They had their fears, and their fears actually came to fruition. It's I feel bad for these people. Of course I feel bad for these people. I don't want anyone to starve to death. That's a fucking horrible way to go out.
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, it is not the rest of the world's problems.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's not each individual country's problem. We don't have to take you in.
Mm-mm.
But I don't know. How do you just sit there and watch people die? I don't know.
Well, I mean, you also have to straw man it. What if it was us? What if it was the Western world that was going through these economic downturns and we were starving? Let's say the breadbasket just fucking dried up and we had no more wheat. Are we going to be able to flee into Africa with open arms?
Maybe we'd be fleeing to South America.
Same difference. Are we going to be fleeing there with open arms?
Probably.
I highly fucking doubt that.
We'd definitely try it. You don't think
we would
be trying it en masse?
We would try. And that's the thing. I understand the desperation, and I'm not talking shit about the desperation. I cannot refute what these people are going through. But in my eyes, you guys did it to yourselves. You really did.
But then there's the old argument. Maybe they didn't do them to themselves. Maybe, and I hate to say the fucking word because I hate it, colonial institutionism. Maybe when we went in there, not me personally, but the white man went in there and fucked around with them and caused all these problems. They raped their people and killed their people, and
absolutely. But overpopulation, you can't put overpopulation on us. You cannot put the overpopulation of these African countries, countries that have historically been unable to feed themselves. You cannot put that on us. You can't.
Yeah, but overpopulation is like a causation. You have 10 kids because you're hoping 2 of them will survive.
Yeah. And then what?
I'm not saying it's right. That's why we need to educate people in these countries, 100%. This is why it gets me so mad that, the American government is not sending as much because they're worried about abortions. They're not sending Planned Parenthood money over. It's no, let's educate these women so they can own their own, birth control.
Educate the women, but they're still going to get raped.
Well, a raper is a raper. A raper is a raper. Rape doesn't happen in Canada?
No, it does. And I do agree with you, Jacqueline. I do agree that some education and, these people understanding life a little bit better would really help them out. But at the same point in time, are they willing? Are they willing to change?
Maybe they are, but is the government, a lot of times the governments don't want you to educate, especially women, because they don't want the women to be empowered.
I don't know. All I know is that
this is why the Taliban went in and shot up that little girl, I can't remember her name, from India, Pakistan.
Malala,
because the girls were going to school.
Yeah.
Right? Certain cultures don't want their women to be educated, because when women have education, then they can say, no, you're wrong. Yeah. And then the rapists or the people that like to control these women don't have as much power. Anyway, let's move on. I think we beat that dead horse, and I'm sure we'll be back to it another time.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of dumbing down your citizens, this article came out last week about science and opinions, and they polled 1,000. I want to get the exact number because, of course, it's always just a small. When they poll people, it's only just a really small number. We know that. I think it was 1,514 people. But they say that their margin of error is only a plus or minus 2.5%.
Yeah.
Okay. But these were some interesting facts. So 52% of the respondents agreed that genetically modified organisms are bad for your health. GMOs, and I see a lot of anti-GMO people on my Facebook. You eat corn.
Exactly.
That's GMO'd.
Corn's a GMO.
Bananas.
Bananas don't exist in nature. Lemons don't exist in nature. Like, fuck out of here.
Yeah, and they've been GMOing corn for freaking
forever.
Centuries.
Yeah.
Potatoes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Beans. Remember, what's his name? When you took freaking grade, oh no, I think I did this in biology, but you learned about Mendel, the guy who did the bean plants, to learn about DNA and stuff. Yeah. So 47% agreed that the science behind global warming is still, quote, unclear.
What?
47% of Canadians believe that. This is Canada.
Yeah.
And then 19% agree that there's a link between vaccinations and autism.
Those people are dumb.
Yeah. So
and there's a blanket statement I'll make. All those people are dumb.
Yeah. But I mean, we used to be a country, Canada, and even America to some degree. People looked up to you for your education, right? When they talked about Canadian or American education, that was like people wanted to go there to get it. People still come here. But you have this many dumb fucks. Yeah. I'm sorry, and that's the only word for you. You dumb fuck. Dumbing down my country and America. Like, the dumbing down of America is well documented and ridiculous. But now the dumbing down of Canada is starting, and it's upsetting me. Another thing here. 31% of respondents agree that because scientific ideas are fluid and subject to change, they can't be trusted. Look, science is a fact. And a fact is a fact, and you can't interpret that fact any differently. Now, sometimes we learn new things about science, and things will change slightly, but it's not fluid. It's not fluid. This is not an idea or an interpretation. This is science, and facts are facts. This is what I hate. That's not my idea of a fact. I have a different opinion on that fact. No.
Yeah, you can't do that. Like, it's either...
No, but that's the conversation we were having last night. A fact is a fact. There is no such thing as opinions on fact. Like, if Arthur were to tell me the trees are, I believe the trees are rotting carcasses, that's an opinion, it's not a fact. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's an opinion. Science is proven because there's so many studies. You know what I mean? If that's the case, then can we say math is not real? That it's all just logic? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, these are facts. These are real things. Like, vaccinations have polio. Hello? How many people don't have polio because of the fucking vaccine?
Exactly.
Well, 59% of the people agreed that media coverage of scientific issues is presented to support political position. So almost 2/3 of this country believe that when a science article or story or something comes out in the news, that's just a political thing. That's crazy.
No, but also here's the issue. How many of these people that were studied are actually people who are educated enough to have this opinion?
Well, that's why it's a random margin. 1,500 people is not the full country. But, there is some positive things to it. So 82% said they would like to know more about science and how it affects our world. Yeah. So they're open to education. 79% agree they're not comfortable knowing that scientific answers may not be definitive. And that's true. Science is not always definitive. We're always learning new things.
It never is. There's nothing about science, that overbearing term science, that is an absolute 100% fact. Whatever it is always changing.
Well, we're always learning. We're learning new things as we get better tools.
But nothing in life is guaranteed. Yeah. Nothing is 100% ever in life. Even bleach is only 99.99% effective.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry to be, I'm not trying to be funny, but it's the truth. It's like, my biggest issue with people is that we want everything to be 100% accurate, correct. there's no such thing in life because there's always that
Yeah.
margin of error.
Yeah,
Then
always.
this is a fact. Nothing is ever 100% correct ever in life, and you have to be willing to accept that. You know what I mean? A doctor tells you your cancer is curable, and then you go through you go through the therapies and whatnot, and it doesn't help you because maybe the medicine didn't have the same effect on you than it did on the other case studies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to accept
Yeah.
that fact. That's why nothing in life is guaranteed.
Exactly.
Is guaranteed.
It's interesting though because 88% said they trust scientists and professors, and they trust educational institutions. 87%, but they still don't believe the scientists when they say there's global warming. I don't get it.
I feel that though is because a lot of people aren't experiencing it themselves.
That's
Yeah,
kind of true. Like
that's
if you live in
true.
a country like Australia, it's always been hot.
Yeah, right.
It's always been hot in Australia. So for them, they don't see the effects of it happening in Australia. Other country, Philippines, right? For them, it's always been a hot, humid country that's always been getting these Category 5 storms. And this is very common in the Philippines, in these island
Monsoons.
countries, as they call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for them, it might be like, well, is it really real?
Exactly.
But the funniest part is my super conservative uncle, right, who I'll name, who I don't always get along with, my Uncle Danilo, actually believes in global warming. Funny enough. And it's the most hilarious thing because he's like, I'm a Republican through and through, but I don't understand how they don't believe that global warming is happening. Which kind of makes you go, if a person like that who's super close-minded, who actually thought Obama was born in Kenya, can believe in global warming, how can these moronic, I'm sorry, because that's what they are, how can these moronic people not believe that global warming is really happening? Like, it's really, like, right now, the first day of fall, right? Me and Arthur were talking about this before the show started. How do we have a heat wave, yet 3 weeks ago it was chilly?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. I mean, granted, you can't always detect weather patterns. I get that. We still can't detect earthquakes happening until they're about to happen. But it's not. Part of you has to say it's not normal. 2 years ago, I'll never forget. It was my. It was a Christmas party for the office that I used to work for. Middle of December, right? I think it was like December 19th or 20th. It was 75 degrees outside. That's not normal for December weather. You know what I mean? Or the fact that it feels like there is no such thing as spring and fall anymore. It's either hot and then cold now.
Yeah, we don't
That's
have
all
much
you
of a
get.
spring anymore here. Like you kind of go from cold, chilly to like hot.
It's hot and real fast.
Although I can say this, I remember the day my father died. My dad died on February 2nd, 20 years ago. And I remember walking to my mom and dad's apartment, and it was warm as shit. We wore spring jackets, and it was the middle of February.
I mean,
we've always had days, the odd weird day that would be warm.
But the
or cold
odd weird
for whatever
days have
reason.
been turning into the odd weird years.
More and more.
Yeah.
When each year is the hottest year on record.
As I'm smoking a cigarette, contributing to global warming. But
yeah,
it's my thing is, global warming did not happen in a day. We have to remember that the past generation. This is the truth about life. The generation's mistakes are ours to pay. Right? The past generation's mistakes are ours to pay. Those fucking people had. Oh my God, Jacqueline, you're a child of the '80s. I don't know how many hairsprays you've used.
And I use that Parisian. I think it's called something like that. Parisian.
The one in the Aquanet, the one in the purple bottle. Purple bottle.
Oh no, we bought this tin and we just went shh. It was amazing. They don't have that shit like that anymore.
What about in the 50s when everybody was smoking cigarettes? The cows. You know what I mean? It's like,
let's just say this for the people though. Instead of dumbing yourself down and believing everything you see and read in a meme on Facebook. Just research it. Like, go to, even if you want to believe Wiki, at least it's a little more, factual than just some fucking meme that I could create in my own house.
But that's part of the
research. Before you press share and believe it, research.
But that's part of the issue, though, Jacqueline and Arthur. I'm sure you guys will both agree with me on this. People want instant gratification. They don't
Yeah.
want to research shit. This is part of the issue. You want to believe what Jenny McCarthy, I'm sorry, bitch. Jenny McCarthy says
Yeah.
about vaccines instead of doing your own fucking research. You want to believe
Yeah.
what fucking Donald Trump and all these hoo-hoo rah-rahs are saying about fucking global warming instead of doing
Vaccines.
your own
Yeah.
fucking research. It's a hysteria. It's a mass hysteria. We build these somewhat sorry, this is a very harsh term, Adolf Hitler people, and we follow and believe everything that they say. Instead of forming your own opinion and doing your own research, what happened to that generation? Is it because technology finally took over and everything is at a hand's, what do you call that? A hand's click away? It's really
Click, yeah.
sad. You post
Yeah.
something on Facebook. This never really happened years ago. I can easily say Cher is dead, and
Yeah.
people are going to believe this on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and you've
We've
got
become that.
all the information in the world is out there and nobody wants to look it up.
Yeah.
It's sad. I want to talk about this before we run out of time because this is the most important news to me. Some scientists in North Carolina and Columbia Medical University, they have made a patch that they put on their little fat mice, and it dissolved their love handles.
Get me 100 of them now.
Talk
Stat.
Yeah,
about-
sew them
talk
together
about
and make me a suit.
gratification, though. Like, talk
Pardon?
about instant gratification,
This
though,
is different, Arthur.
Yes.
right?
This is so true, though.
Different.
But you know what? Like, it's hard. I've been now. I'm not trying to lose weight, but I'm trying to become healthier. I want my heart to be stronger. So I've been walking and swimming. It's hard as shit, and I don't want to give up potato chips. What the hell? Like, if someone can sew me together a suit, I'll be the human test object.
Yes, me too.
But you know what? I will say this. I remember in the 90s, they came out. Do you remember Fen-Phen? People talking about Fen-Phen?
Uh-huh.
It was the 2 pills, and they would take them, and people were losing weight like crazy. But it caused heart attacks and killed people. And I
don't
remember I was
care.
like, I want Fen-Phen, but I was like, no, I'll wait 10 years and see what people are doing. And you can't even get Fen-Phen anymore.
Well, I'm gonna say this, right? This is different instant gratification. I don't want to be healthier. I just want to look good in clothes. Okay? I want to be able to wear see-through shirts, walk around with my titties all hanging out,
Oh my
fucking
gosh.
looking amazing while eating 7 taquitos, a slushie, a cheeseburger bite from 7-Eleven, and Starburst candy. I don't want to have to like feel guilty about what I'm eating. You know what I mean? Like I'm sorry. Maybe
Yeah.
this is like I'm being vain about this, but this is amazing. I can't get rid of my love handles, and I'm not even fucking in love to have love handles right now. So what the
It's kind
fuck?
of interesting. It turns white fat, which is, the fat that we store all our, big fat in. That's what actually makes you fat. Turns it into the brown fat, which is, I guess, more desirable. I need more brown fat.
I'm a Southern Baptist white woman, so I guess I'm gonna be a black Southern Baptist woman now. I'm not gonna be
Get that brown fat.
get that brown fat.
But they're saying this could actually, if you can lose 20% of fat on the side of your body, which is what the mice were lost, that can help with people that are diabetics. People that have a hard time losing weight as a diabetic.
I think part of
there's
I think part of that is a lot of people focus, I guess, on the look aspect, and we don't talk about, all jokes aside, we don't talk about, potentially this can help. My parents are both diabetics, right? Like this runs in my family.
Yeah.
If it can help both of them who like to cheat the doctors, the systems, and I'm sure they listen to me.
yeah.
My mom will go on a fast for a week and be like, oh my God, my test results came in great because you fasted for a week because you knew you were having a fucking appointment.
Yeah,
Like,
people are
this might-
tipsy like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like you might actually have help. Like this might actually help you, especially those people who don't believe in actual, lifestyle changes. I don't want to say diets because, diets don't work.
Yeah.
You have to do a lifestyle change. This might actually be helpful, or even to those people who just can't lose the weight. It's hard. I understand some people just can't lose weight whatsoever, and
Or you're just lazy like me. Just slap that patch on. And
Yes.
take off,
give me 100. I'll put 100 on at the same time.
I
Hopefully,
probably need
100%.
100. The little patch they put on that mouse, I probably need like 1,000 of them.
Oh, give me the mouse. I'll eat the mouse if it's gonna make me lose weight.
Oh my god. Gross.
I don't care. Make me look good in clothes. I'm sorry. They're trying to be funny, but it's like I've been trying. I've been
Well, that's
trying.
it. People are desperate to be thin and look good, right? But they're not. It's hard. Trust me, it took me years to get up off the couch and start walking around. It's so hard to be motivated.
The one person
I give it to the people that go to the gym every day. I give it to them. Like, good for you.
But that's the whole thing, though, because it's easy to be lazy and pack on the weight. And I don't believe that type of lifestyle, you should be rewarded with an easy way to deal with it. Like, I've always had an issue with, like, liposuction, unless somebody needs it in, like, one of those life or death situations where, you're bedridden and the stress on your heart is just insane.
Stop trying to take away our easy fat removal method, Arthur. What the hell, skinny
Arthur,
bitch?
can you please be nice? You have no opinion on this. You're skinny.
Are you kidding me?
You're skinny. You have you.
I always
What's your
wonder about
waistline?
they're bedridden. Okay, listen to me. I always say this to my husband too. If I got so fat that I was bedridden, just bring me salads. I'm too fat to get out of bed to get a hamburger. Now if you continue to bring me a pound of bacon and 12 dozen eggs, you're the enabler in helping me stay fat.
I actually
but 7 pounds of salad in a sitting is still not fucking good.
It's still better than eating 12 sausages.
Well, I actually have to admit to something. I used to watch My 600-Pound Life.
Yes.
While eating burgers.
As you do.
And, I did it because, and I'm going to admit to this, oh my God, I can't believe I'm admitting this. Me and a specific person used to watch this, and we would always make comments going, at least I'm not that fat. Like, to make me feel better about myself.
Yum, I'm eating this triple cheese pizza.
Yeah.
As I'm judging this woman who's eating her life away, I'm like, oh, thank God I'm not that big. It's for some of us, we watch these shows or we look at people on the street and we judge them. I'm putting on a serious voice. This is, to me, a bit serious. I think we're all guilty of this. And as we, gobble up 12 sausages or whatever, we're judging that woman who's sitting at McDonald's going, you're fat because you're having a 20-piece, 2 cheeseburgers, and a milkshake, which I've done.
That's kind of excessive.
Yeah.
Like, really.
Well, but
I will say when I was younger and thinner, my friend Rhonda and I would go to McDonald's. And I had a little bit of a tummy, but I wasn't anywhere fat before I met my husband. And I would eat a McChicken and 2 cheeseburgers and a fries and a drink. Like, that's stupid. I didn't eat that much food.
No.
But did you judge other people?
No, I don't. I still don't judge other people. I don't care. You want to eat fucking half the food in the restaurant? Go ahead.
I do. Because
you're
to
a
me,
bitch.
no, it's not even. I do it silently, but more of the fact. I think a lot of us we do it because we try to make ourselves feel better.
Yeah,
to
that's true. At least I'm
justify
not
the fact that
him.
we're
I'm
eating.
not her. Yeah.
A lot of the times I say that I'm like, oh my God, at least I'm not that big. But you're that big, but she could be healthier than me because I'm a smoker.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the truth.
I see some big women. Oh my gosh, I was at the pool and this woman was like swimming for like 2 hours straight. She was way bigger than me. She did the splits on the deck. I was like, what the frick? So, she was, bigger than me, but she was obviously in better shape than I was.
Yeah, that's true. I think a lot of us, we consider being thin or being in shape as a vanity, right? And so when we do that, when we consider these things to be a vanity kind of a thing, we try to make it, how do you say this? Like we try to justify everything with looks. So because you're not that big, you feel like you're healthier because I'm skinnier than,
Climb 2 flights of stairs and you'll see if you're healthy.
Oh, that's very true.
Anybody of any size. If you can climb 2 flights of stairs without fucking dying at the top, then maybe you're healthy.
I don't even care about that. Give me these patches. I'm going to start to, get in my size 28 jeans again. Like, come on, guys.
Do you know what the downfall for all fat people that made it even worse? The fucking scooters.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I don't care how fat I ever get. I don't care if I'm hobbling around in a walker. I'm not getting in a scooter.
Yeah, that's the one moment in life where I probably would be like, this is where I got myself to.
I'm driving that scooter out in front of a bus. Like, fuck that shit.
And you're having to make all the people get up because they have to strap you in so your fucking scooter doesn't move when you're in the bus.
And I see they scoot through the store at like 30 freaking kilometers an hour, almost running people down. I almost thought, although I will say this, I was waiting for my daughter to come out from work, and this lady went in through the exit door because the store was closed, and she was in her scooter, and the door shut on her, and she almost fell over. The whole thing tilted sideways, and I was like, go, you bitch, trying to get in when the door is shut, but
I love it. I mean, I've always been jealous of those people because I've always wanted a scooter just to kind of like scoot around.
I just want to play around in it, but
yeah, I don't want to be fat.
I don't want to be seen driving one because they'd be like, "Oh, there's a fat scooter person."
Yeah,
right. Because that's what I call them. I'm like, there's an old scooter person, or a disabled scooter person, or a fat scooter person.
I also want the chair thing for the stairs. Like it takes you all the way up.
Oh, I'm so slow.
That's that's my dream. It's like I feel like it's so luxurious to have something like that. That's what I want.
Until you're disabled and you have to have one.
Oh my god.
They had one at the funeral home where my father we had my father's funeral, and I just wanted to ride on it, but it was like I was supposed to be serious because my dad had just died. And I was like, what the hell?
So
let me ride this.
I feel like that was a sign for you to have tried it out.
I couldn't though. Like, would have been bad.
You could have been crying while riding it, Jacqueline.
I'm so sad I can't walk. I'm so sad I can't walk. Okay, we got just a few minutes. Let's talk about this little funny story. I didn't share this with you guys, so you guys don't know which one this is. Although I think I told Ryan about it. So in London, England, someone owned a parrot, and the parrot can talk. The parrot's name is Buddy. And Buddy was talking to Amazon's Alexa and ordered 10 pounds in gift boxes.
Oh my.
That's amazing.
Like, can you imagine? Stupid Alexa. And apparently, like, the lady was the next time, because so the thing is, the parrot knows to say Alexa. It hears its people talking to Alexa, so it says Alexa, and it lights up and it listens, and then Buddy just goes blah, 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 like a stupid parrot would do. And then she's like, "What is it you want to order?" And then it's a more blah blah blah, and then they're like, "Okay, ordering you, whatever."
Yeah.
This is why if you own a parrot, people don't link up your Alexa to your credit card, okay? Because there's your troubles.
Actually, the funniest story about Alexa, Siri, Cortana, all of these things, I was on vacation and I had just gotten the new phone last year. And, I was out of town or whatever. And I guess you can change it on the new iPhones, I guess. You can change the name. So you could like say, eat my pussy or whatever, and it would respond to you. Be like, Ryan, what do you need help with? And so I said the line, not knowingly, saying the line as I was actually trying to figure out what I was going to buy on Amazon or something or eBay or whatever. It ended up, like, 2 packages came to the house. I'm like, I didn't order anything. And it's all because I was trying to dispute it. They were like, no, but you purchased the order at this date. I'm like, no, that wasn't me. Until it clicked in my head. I'm like, oh my God, it must have been that day. When I was. But, it's these things. I do really dislike something like Alexa being able to do that for you. I feel like you should have some sort of
You must be able to turn off that function, though.
You should be able to. There should be something, but I feel like it's first generation.
Isn't it what it's about, though? I thought the thing was just a personal shopper.
I don't know. I thought it turned on the music for you and turned down the lights and shit.
It's supposed to be a virtual assistant.
I'd just be like, Alexa, what's the name of that person that was in that movie? Like, that's what I would use it for.
I'd be like, can you please get me on the end?
I remember we have a smart TV, and we were the voice command comes on all the time, even though we don't want it to. And we're like, Scott was like, fuck off. And it was like, that is very rude. I cannot do that. And it was like, this lady was like having a whole conversation with Scott. It was like crazy. I couldn't imagine an Alexa that was there to literally talk with Scott when he's, drinking on a Friday night. Although maybe somebody would be talking to Scott on a Friday night, since I never do.
But I don't know. I find them to be kind of dumb and pointless. Like, I wouldn't get one.
Yeah, I don't get the point either. I don't use my Cortana on my computer.
Yeah.
I don't use the whatever the thing is on my phone. I can't be bothered.
Like, I went out and got a smart TV, obviously, but I wouldn't get one with the voice activation and shit like that. To me, it's just, like, it's pointless. There's no need for it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a remote control. If I was disabled and I couldn't use my hands, maybe then it would be useful. It'd be like, Cortana changed the channel.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, for people with disabilities, that's actually pretty good, useful for these Alexis and Cortanas and stuff. Mm-hmm. Cortana came on yesterday during our TV Attack podcast.
Oh yeah.
At Justin's house, and that was kind of funny. Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. She just pops up randomly and starts talking in the middle of the show. But anyway, it's 10 o'clock. That's the end of our show. We'll be back Wednesday with, I'm sure, even more fascinating stories. We'll have an update on the Kylie Jenner pregnancy, I'm sure.
Yay.
Have a good week. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
Take care.